Okay, chats. Welcome back, Gooners and Goonettes, to the stream. We're chilling out tonight. Feels good. It is an interesting evening. It is certainly an interesting evening. A lot of big news today. We'll see about some stuff. Something like dust on my screen there. That's no good. Can't have any of that. Anyway, chat, welcome back. We're just doing a little bit of drawing here. You know, nice little chill, relaxing time. Oh shit, that's still really big. Maybe like a 5.5? I think tomorrow we'll probably be back on Cobblemon. So if you guys are looking forward to that, do feel free to stop in. Because I know a lot of you don't get to watch these drawing streams. I'm going to say this in advance, because I know Mariah usually watches these while she's going to sleep. Have a good night. To anybody watching these as a sleep aid. Because I learned recently that they are relaxing. So I'm gonna try my best to keep that vibe going. As it is what I do. But yeah, interesting day today. Very interesting day. Discord announced that they're gonna be doing age verification across the board. Not just in the countries that require it anymore. Which is certainly a move that they have made. I don't know if it's the right one or the wrong one. That is not for me to decide, but it is certainly an interesting one and does bring up a lot of questions. You know, it certainly does. It is an interesting decision. I'm actually polling my Discord server, which, by the way, if you are a longtime viewer or subscriber, you have access to that, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already. If you have your Discord account linked to your Twitch account, you should be able to access it for free from there. But for those of you that are in my Discord server already, you would know that we have had that Discord server as like the primary hub for our little community for quite a while, and that I use Discord pretty frequently to communicate with you guys about upcoming things I might be working on, or hiatuses on content, or vacations and things of that nature. So I am certainly curious. I'm polling them now, but you know, things might change. I don't know. But I certainly will be mostly judging it off of what my community is feeling at the moment. So I just wanted to make that clear from the jump to anybody who was curious. I know most of you probably weren't, but now you know anyway. So if and when that change does take place, well, if and when Discord makes the change, and they might not make it, you know, because there is some pretty loud backlash online. But if the change takes place, you know, and my community is like, we don't want to do that, we don't want to give our ID to Discord, then, you know, I will act accordingly. Because, frankly, you guys are the reason that I do this stuff. And I'm not gonna make it difficult on you. I'm just not gonna do that. So if you're not comfortable, I'm gonna move. That's just the way it is. So, all right, that's nice. So we'll put this as color 1. Okay. We're gonna grab all of this stuff and put it inside of color 1. We're gonna copy paste it as a separate image file. And that actually works pretty darn well. That was the plan from the beginning. And that's just to have the whole color palette available to us. So now what we're going to do is go through the process again. Again! Armed and dangerous! But yeah, so that was some interesting news today. In other news, started up classes in college again. So that's been pretty fun. Finished my first assignment last week. I think it went well. But he hasn't actually graded it yet, so what do I know? Actually, just realized there's just a little bit of overlap here. Shouldn't be there. So, just gonna fix that and then keep going. But yeah, so there's that. Additionally, let's see, what other news do we have? I heard recently that or they had that Nintendo Direct that they announced Bethesda partnering with Nintendo, which is a little odd. I'll readily admit. Thought that was a little strange. Not that it's a bad idea or anything, it's just surprising to hear a Microsoft brand be like, oh, we're partnering with Nintendo, you know. Although I shouldn't be surprised anymore, because Microsoft doesn't really do exclusivity for their games. You know, they're all on PC and all over the place these days. But hey, that's a good thing. You know, it just means that we come closer and closer to the day where everyone I know plays on Steam. And that is something I really want, because Steam is great. Like, look, I know, like, PC gaming is a daunting thing to get into right now, but I certainly encourage those who can to do it, because make the jump from console. Seriously, console gaming is, like, I am a retro console connoisseur. I mean, I have tons of them. We're playing Jet Set Radio Future right now on the original Xbox, and I love it. It's fun. But even I'll admit, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like, you know, if you want a retro system, if you want retro hardware, you have to jump through so many hoops to make that happen. So many hoops. And it's not fun. You know, it's just not fun. And I don't like when things, especially things like that, aren't enjoyable. You know, but with new consoles, I would argue it's even worse. Because at least with the old ones, once you have them and you're sure that they work, it's plug and play. You turn it on, you put the disc in, and you're playing a video game. With the new consoles, who doggy? It is a different animal. You know, you are no longer just, oh, I dropped the disc into my PlayStation and now I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. No. You know, now you got to download things from the server. You got to do the cloud gaming shit. You got so much more you got to worry about. And God forbid your game is actually all on the disc. No. Your game is not. Your game is not all on that disc. Friendo. No. Your game is actually stored in the cloud. And when you buy it, you're buying a license to use it temporarily. And when that license expires, the company can take your $70 purchase price game and just take it away. Say, well, you know, service is over, pal. Pack up and get out. And you can go, well, what the hell, man? Like, I was still playing that. And they'll go, sorry, bucko. If you can't tell, I'm very passionate about this issue. But yeah, I certainly find that interesting that Bethesda is going to be working with Nintendo. Although, from what I heard, that Direct was mostly like game key cards. And from what I've heard, a lot of developers are struggling with game key cards. Game key cards are not going the way Nintendo imagined they would. And that's not to say, in my opinion, that they were an entirely bad concept. Because the more I think about them, the more I think they could have been executed well had they been done a little bit differently. See, because the big problem Nintendo's facing right now with the Switch 2 is that they have a, 64 gigabyte cartridge? I want to say it's 64 gig. It's pretty big. It's a pretty big cartridge. It's like a pretty expensive SD card. And that cartridge is the standard option. I don't know why I keep tilting the camera so it doesn't balance the light properly. I'm at a loss. But anyway, they have the one card option right now. And so for a Switch 2 game, like let's say you make a video game, you're going to put it on Switch 2. You got a dev kit, you made sure it worked. But now you have to actually like put the thing on the system, and one part of that, if you want to make a physical release, requires a cartridge. So right now the big issue is that the big cartridges that Nintendo has that actually contain the whole game are expensive. Which makes sense. Oh, what's good, Jordan Goodman? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Yeah, the carts are expensive. Let me grab you. And thanks for being so quick to fill out my poll earlier. I am genuinely curious and collecting information for our Discord community as its representative. But yeah. So the big problem Nintendo is facing right now is, just in case you didn't read Discord, I'm back in my home. Also, you're welcome. Yes, I did see that. Congrats. Glad that you're back. Glad that you have power again. And hopefully the weather continues to get nicer. I've heard good things so far lately. Heard good things. So, but yeah, and I'll touch more on the Discord stuff in a minute. But yeah, the big problem Nintendo is facing right now is those damn cartridges. Because it's either you make a Switch 1 game that has an upgrade path to Switch 2, and then the cartridge basically is just a Switch 1 cart that happens to contain a little bit of extra data just so that when you put it in a Switch 2, it automatically has the upgrade installed. Or you use the 64 gigabyte cartridge, which is very expensive to manufacture, make a Switch 2 exclusive game, and it runs and it's good, but it's expensive, so you have to raise the price of the game. Or, final option, game keycard. Nobody likes that one. Gee, I wonder why. The big problem with Nintendo is that they're greedy bastards. I wouldn't... people say that a lot, but, I mean, like, they're bad, but they're not the worst, honestly. I would argue owning a PS5 isn't much better. Owning a Series X is not even close to better. They're all bad in that respect. The issue is that Nintendo has a hardware problem right now that they can't solve, because the game keycards in concept were supposed to be like, oh, this is a way you can sell your games at retail for the retail price of, you know, like, let's say your game is $50 and you sell it for $50 at retail. The game keycards were supposed to be a way to say, okay, well, you can make it Switch 2 exclusive and that'll work, because you'll just put the card in and it'll download it like it's a digital game. Problem is, people don't like that. People don't like that at all. People aren't buying them because they're like, well, why would I buy a fucking piece of plastic to install the game on my cartridge, or to install the game on my system? It's just adding steps arbitrarily. It's like just stupid additional steps. So they're not doing it. And that's why game keycards are stupid. What I think would have been more clever is if the game keycard was an empty cartridge, an empty 64GB cartridge, or maybe a little bit smaller, and then all it did was, when you put it into the system, it treats it like a digital download, but it treats the card as an external storage device, thus offloading the game onto the cartridge, treating it like a normal physical card. In other words, all it's doing is eliminating one step in manufacturing, which saves money. But that's not what they do. Instead, it's much more convoluted than that. But hey, you know, what do I know about manufacturing? I'm just a guy who makes Twitch streams on the internet. Anyway, I'll repeat the Discord thing because I said it before you got here. I was genuinely curious about the Discord situation because, and I'm collecting data with that poll. I hope everybody fills it out. If you talk to anybody from the server outside of the server and they haven't already responded, definitely let them know to hop on in and just hit one of the buttons in the poll. Radio with the Hydrate. Thank you so much. Popping in before I go to bed. Well, you have a good night, Radio. If you need background music, I have heard that these are relaxing sleep aids. Excellent. But yeah, in regards to the Discord age verification issue, if you didn't hear, starting early March 2026, Discord will now require, or at least tentatively, because we don't know if it'll actually happen or not. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. But they did announce it officially, so there's a non-zero chance that they don't roll back this policy change. But it'll basically be, you are treated as a teenager on Discord unless you prove your identity is older than that. And there are some caveats. Like, I believe they have something similar to YouTube coming into effect where it's like, oh, we'll watch what you are watching, and if you happen to be watching stuff that is more adult-oriented, then, or we'll see what you're doing in Discord, and if it's more adult-oriented, then we'll treat you as an adult. Like, our system will flag you as likely being an adult. Whereas the opposite would be true if you were in predominantly, you know, more childish interest groups. Anyway, the idea is that Discord will be making this change, and the only way to definitively verify your identity is one of two options. Either you give them an ID, which they would then take that data, verify it with, you know, regulators through their third-party service, and then they would give you adult access, or they would take a facial recognition scan and use their AI to determine if your face looks old enough, I think, for you to be considered an adult on Discord. And this is a policy they already rolled out in the UK and in Australia. But they announced today that they are officially implementing it as a worldwide movement. And they threw in some bullshit where they were like, oh, it's about child safety and child safety on the internet day and blah, 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 blah. That's why we're doing it. Whether or not you believe that is your prerogative, I personally do not. I think the reason they're doing it is because of a number of different factors. Chief among them being that they have a contract with a data collection company in like the UK and stuff. And rather than feel like that money's going to waste, they can kill two birds with one stone by instead saying, we're just going to roll the policy out worldwide so that this becomes much easier for us to manage. You know, we can offset this cost by using it as a worldwide rollout, and then we can write it off on our taxes in every country that we operate. Isn't the legal system fun? That being said, what? Discord is doing exactly what Roblox did with AI facial aging to see how old you are? Yes. Yes, they are. And it will be coming in March. So, if you're not cool with that, consider looking into alternatives and make a stink. If you are cool with that, then that's fine. But that's why I put out a poll in my Discord server, personally, because I was curious how people were reacting to this news, this change, how they were feeling about it, how is everybody coping with it so far. I don't judge you either way. If you're cool with it, that's fine. If you're not cool with it, that's fine too. But I'm just collecting data because I'm like, well, a lot of my community is on Discord. They use Discord. Like, Discord is a primary service by which the Fuse is Here brand operates. So I was like, oh, well, probably a good idea to see how my community is responding to the news. Are they okay with it? Are they angry about it? How are they feeling about it? I'm already getting some info, That's why I put the poll down there, so. I just want to make that clear. Like, you're not going to be judged for having an opinion. I don't really give a shit. I just want to know so that, like, if I do have to look into alternatives to Discord, I know that, like, a majority of the Discord server is like, yeah, I'm not going to be using Discord, or I'm upset about this change, and I'm considering other options. When? I think I missed the poll. No, it just came out today. The blog post from Discord came out today, so... And there's a bunch of people talking about it online, so I just figured today was the day to do it. Just, be, what's it called? Proactive. But you didn't miss anything. It's there. It's there right now. It'll be up for the next 24 hours, so you have plenty of time. So don't feel bad. But yeah, guys, definitely check that out if you haven't already, because I am curious to collect that data. See, that's data that I'm not, that's another thing, is a lot of people, and I certainly see where they're coming from on this, a lot of people think that Discord just wants to do that as a data harvesting measure. I don't know for sure if that is the case. But I certainly see the point of saying, like, oh, well, they have all this user data. So it does make good business sense that they would probably be, collecting that data for a reason besides child safety. But I can't prove that here or there, so that's not my beef to explore. I did the Roblox one. Roblox put me in the 18 to 21 age group. Interesting. I've never done one before. The thing with Discord is they did say if you don't do age verification, the way it's going to work is they're going to assume you're a teenager and restrict all of your, like, access to certain things. So, like, adults-only channels and stuff you won't be able to access, even if you are an adult, if you don't go through the age verification process. Whereas, obviously, currently you can access those channels simply by dating your account when you make it with your birth date and stuff like that. You know, then Discord's like, you're hunky-dory, you know, you can access whatever you want. But they usually don't store that data. As far as I know, they don't store your birth date. Chica the Beaka? I don't know what you're referencing there. But yeah, so I found that interesting. And I'm definitely, like, super curious to see how my general community reacts to that news. What's some other stuff? Oh, Sonic-related stuff. I forgot. There have been some pretty seemingly credible leaks referring to a Sonic Central coming in early this year. Some people are estimating March will be the Sonic Central. So that's cool. I was referencing Markiplier when he talks about his dog Chica. Interesting. But yeah, I heard some pretty interesting leaks regarding that. Apparently, we are looking at a possible trailer for the next mainline game, as well as some info that seems to suggest Crossworlds will actually be getting new content, new DLC packs and stuff announced. Apparently, it did well enough that Sega is like, yep, we're doing more. And one of them will be a Crossworlds for Persona, it looks like the rumor is. So that's interesting to me. I see that as a really cool idea. I'm fine doing the AI facial thing. Did it for Roblox so they wouldn't restrict me from chatting with players. Yeah, I know a lot of people have issue with it, though, because that's considered biometric data, and it makes them uncomfortable. And that's why I want to know, because, like, let's say in a hypothetical world, right? Let's say, hypothetically. Like, let's say in a hypothetical world, the majority of the Discord server is like, yeah, that freaks me out. I don't want to do that. You know, then what am I supposed to do? You know, am I supposed to just sit back and be like, well, I don't care. You know, like, no, I have to respect you guys. So it's like, well, you know, if you guys aren't cool with it, then I'm not going to do it. Hopefully they make another Sonic game. I want one with gameplay like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Brother. Take that back. That game's terrible. What? You want another Rise of Lyric? I mean, I guess that's your opinion. That's fine. But no, generally speaking, that game's pretty bad. Don't shit on my childhood. Hey, nostalgia, listen, I get it, but there are better options out there. No, the rumors are suggesting that it seems like a hybrid of Frontiers gameplay with Adventure 2 gameplay, and that the two playable characters will be Sonic and Shadow. At the same time, I don't want myself restricted. It does bother me because I don't want what I look like leaked out onto the web if Discord systems become breached. But at the same time, I don't want myself restricted. See, Locke brought up a good point about this. He mentioned, and rightly so, that only about, I want to say 3 months ago, Discord, this specific system that they are now rolling out worldwide, did get data breached, and 70,000 government IDs got leaked onto the internet. That's why I messaged everybody, was because I was like, yeah, you know, I feel like there are people that are not going to be cool with this, and, like, if I don't say anything, and I just let things play out, I feel like that's not cool. Severely uncool about it. To be honest, your information is no longer safe out there. Well, and see, I don't know how old most of my audience is, and that's for good reason. That's because when I was growing up, because I'm an early 2000s kid, that's when I was born and bred. You know, I was born and raised in the early ages of the internet. 21. 21? No, I was sorry. That's a. Jeez, I'm old. Anyway. So basically, when I was a kid, and I think it was Critical that pointed this out today when the Discord stuff got announced. When we were kids, the internet was built for adults, and kids kind of had their own little sections on it. And so your parents would generally give you like the following rules, where it was like, never give out any personal information online. Don't talk to any strangers in chat rooms or on Xbox Live or anything like that. Don't put anything out on the internet you don't want to be there forever, because anything that's on the internet is always on the internet. Stuff like that. And it seems like, and I don't know if you guys get this impression, but to me, it seems like parents just stopped telling their kids that. And I really don't know why. Like, can somebody explain to me why that stopped being general policy for parenting? Because, like, I've always thought if I have a kid, I'm not even letting them have a cell phone until they're 15. Like, I'll be dead ass with you right now. I don't trust... my mom gave me my phone at 15 because I was managing the basketball team. I was doing scoreboard for the basketball team at my high school. And she was like, well, I need a way to contact you, so you're getting a phone. And that was the only reason I got a cell phone. And I immediately started using it during school and stuff like that, and it was interesting. Yeah. I don't know why parents stopped telling their kids that. It was good parenting. Yeah. So it is a little interesting to me. It's like, why did that policy just suddenly go away of, like, stranger danger on the internet? Like, you hear all these stories all the time of, like, oh, these kids were talking to this random guy on Roblox. And you're like, why? Why were they doing that? What was the compulsion there? Why were they why were they talking to a random guy on Roblox? Like, didn't they know that they're not supposed to do that? Is that, like, not a thing? You managed your basketball team? Same, I recorded the games. Yeah, I didn't do the camera work. I knew the guy that did that. But I did, like, scoreboard, so I would hit the button to, like, change what the score was for the game, and I would record it all in the team's book, so that when the coach was doing practice, like, on the Monday or the next day they practice after a game for a week, they would come in, and he'd be like, all right, this guy scored this, this, and this, and, like, these were all the notes that we took, and, you know, Fuse recorded that we weren't really doing so hot this quarter, so we need to work on this, this, and this, stuff like that. Especially with, yeah, peas around, the internet is not safe. Yeah, but, like, that's what I'm saying, is it's kind of weird, because it's like, we all knew that back in the day. We all knew that the internet wasn't safe. Like, that was common. Like, everybody knew. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew that there was nothing safe about the internet. So then why were we, like, surprised all of a sudden? Why is everybody, like... You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what happened. It just seems really weird. Think back to the Snapchat situation. Okay, that's an interesting thing. When did you guys start using, like, social media? Because for me, if we're just counting, like, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, things of that nature, I legitimately didn't have one until 2 years ago. Keep in mind, I'm in my mid-20s. I just didn't. I mean, people on Roblox communicate with players all the time, but usually Roblox tags out certain things, but doesn't catch all of the players have figured out word loopholes where Roblox moderation won't tag it. Yeah. I got my first phone at 10. It was a flip phone, social media, not until I was 12. Okay. See, I didn't have that. That's what I'm curious about. I want to know. It's topical. Everything else slowly got over the years. Okay. See, because for me, the only reason I got Instagram was for the art stuff, right? So I started doing, like, commission work and stuff like that on Instagram, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I should probably have an artist's Instagram account, you know? But the only social media I had up until that point was YouTube, which I would use to watch videos. I think I got Discord when I was in college, because I needed it for a class. And then after I got it, I made a second account because people were like, yo, Fuse, you got Discord, bro? Yo, fucking friend me on Discord, bro. And then I would friend them and they'd be messaging me during class. And I would get pinged in the thing. So I was like, I can't be having this shit. So I made a second account and I was like, unfriend the old one, friend this one. Not using it anymore. That's what I did. It was very funny, I will admit. But I actually have to do that again. I still have the school account lying around, and I'm going to use it again. I'm trying to think of a funny profile picture, though, because I really want to have, like, a good one where I can use it and kind of giggle about it for the rest of the time. But I'm taking 3D Animation 1 this year, or this spring. So, like, end of February I start. And I am very, very excited about it, obviously, but it's super funny. I just keep Discord notifications turned off. I didn't know how to do that at the time. Plus, I realized I was like, well, if this one's like more professional, why am I mixing these two? So I just said, fuck it, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like, mixing business and pleasure can't be done. But yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, social media, and like the internet in general, people are like very trusting. Why can't social media platforms just stay the way they are with their age stuff? That's something I'm curious about too. It seems like, and this is my opinion, mind you. I am not stating this as a fact. But it definitely seems like nowadays, the internet itself kind of caters towards children. And treats adults as the anomaly using it. And so, because that's the case, social media platforms have evolved into this, like, weird state where it's like everything has to be geared towards, we need to protect the children. And it's like, but they're not even supposed to be on here. So the assumption is that everyone breaks the terms of service, is basically what it seems like. And I find that very odd. Like, back when we were younger, if a bad thing happened to a kid and they were like, why did you allow that to happen on your platform? They were like, well, they're not even supposed to be here. The terms of service say they have to be like 16 or older to join. But nowadays they're like, we are making steps to improve the platform for children. And I'm like, but the rules haven't changed. The game has not changed, my guy. Heimer. It's funny, if you watch the VOD of this later, the beginning of the stream, I say have a good night. I say sleep well to you, because I said I realized that now these are good sleep aids, so I try to trying to gear towards that. We're talking about the whole Discord age thing for a little bit, just giving it a bit of a razzle in the spotlight while I do another frame of this coloring for the animation. I hope I can get this to work. It'll look really cool. But yeah, definitely fill out the poll if you guys haven't already. Oh, I did lightly trim that part. Okay. Dude is looking so good. Thank you. You'll see a magic trick in a minute if you guys give me a hot second. Yep. I might have to adjust the shadows a little bit because it's kind of hard to do it effectively. Yeah. Okay. I was never here. You didn't see me keeping my watch streak. Woo! Now, everybody knows you have the impeccable watch streak, Radio. Everybody knows it. We all know. You can't hide. You can't hide from what you are. You were my brother, Anakin. Anyway, yeah, yeah, but I was thinking about that. I don't know. What's my watch streak for you, Fuse? The last... Well, it's not showing it now. It usually tells me. I can't find it. I don't actually know. I think it's 8 streams? I want to say it's 8? Maybe 9? I think the last one I saw was 7. So I want to say 8 or 9? Nope. Oh. Okay, well, what is it then? I don't know where you got that. Try 30. What the hell? Whoa! Bobby, you're playing Modern Zangief? No, Dad. I'm on Dynamic, Dad. What now? What? Okay, I think I got... Oh, no, I didn't do the under the nose part. I didn't do that. Okay, and then I didn't do the hand. So this would be a little shaded over. Obviously this part as well. It, like, kind of curtailing up. This would be blacked out. This would be blacked out. This would be blacked out. And this would be all the way blacked out, because it's further back. Okay, now we're good. Check this out. I'm about to blow your mind. Minus 40. I believe it's minus 12. Oh, wait. Nope, forgot one. Minus 40, minus 12. And then turn the saturation all the way up. That was the secret. I forgot about that part. I think I'm about 80 for Mariah, but I don't directly remember. Damn. That's dedication. Honestly, that's dedication. It's impressive. And a bit scary. No, I'm kidding. No. Okay, so now I need to match this up. And then I believe, oh, this as well. This needs to be matched up. And this, because these parts don't move. And then I think everything else is different. So we will treat it as if it were a wild frontier. Scary? No, I just have like 3 devices on and usually 3 tabs open on my laptop with each having a stream on. Damn. Radio is one of the main reasons I still stream. That and memories with friends. That's nice, honestly. I mean, you should... I just like having you stream in general. I just like having my Could Be Mariah streams. I don't know where I'd be without them. And I do watch them, I just don't always comment. Because I don't either have my hands free to type or something of that nature, usually. So before people say, but Fuse never watches. Yes, I do. I do. You just don't know I'm there. I'm sneaky like that. I'm sneaky. You're never going to see me coming. Who's coming? If you're coming right now, let me see it. He who is coming. Sure. Indeed. It's the truth. Though I do miss Mariah guesses a lot, because it happens on a day where I'm busy, and it sucks, because I want to watch those the most. I want to be able to see another one. I've watched like 4 of them live. The other ones I've watched as VODs after the fact, but still, I'm like, dude, I want to watch them live because they're cool. Who knows? I was there for like the desserts one and a few others, but it's like, it's rare. It's a rare day. One time I had to leave it on while I was in the shower. It was really funny. I was washing up and I was like, fuck, she's streaming right now. I'll just leave it on in the background, and if I hear my name, I'll turn the water off and watch that part of the stream and then get back to it. I don't care if I'm cold. Did you get your music genres to Kat? I did. I got them to her a few days ago. So, moi, ha, ha. Did I light that part up? I did. Oh, shit. Moi, ha, ha. There's a kind of different scenario here, so that wouldn't be lit up. Okay. I think that's good. So what I'm going to do is Baba Booey. Filter, hue, brightness up to 40. Excellent. And then what we do is we add a folder, we go color 2. Okay. And we go baba booey. Baba booey. We add that to frame 2. And then we gotta move it all the way to the bottom. This one will be fun. Alright, good night. I stole that from her. Alright, good night, everybody. Not stream, just the people that are leaving. If you're going to sleep, good night. Yeah, that. I'm a professional. Bona fide professional. I had to do a build in Moist tonight. I saw that. I saw you were playing Moist. I didn't get to watch because it was basically when I was doing dishes. Or, well, not doing it. No. That was after dinner, so I was... What was I doing when you were streaming that? I got the notification. Oh, right. That's when I was about to brush my teeth. I always do that before stream. I don't know why. Like, you guys can't smell my breath through the camera. So there's no way you would know if I had brushed my teeth before stream or not. But I always feel weird if I don't. Like, my mouth gets all dry and weird if I don't brush my teeth before I stream. Like, if I eat something. If I haven't eaten anything and I stream, then it's different. But if I eat something, then my mouth's like, nope. You gotta obey the rules or we'll make you obey them. You've got this tick for a reason. That's like I have to refuel my hair before stream. Yeah. I do tend to do a little bit. Well, that's not true, actually. I don't work on my hair as much before stream. But I know what you mean. Yeah. Recurl. Oh, you recurl your hair before stream. That's it. I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Sensei. My brain is gone. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're in EP mode. And you're not usually here for these lives, so your brain is thinking it's time to sleep. It's time to go to bed, you see, because it's just that chill, you know? You're just chilling out, you're just having a nice, a nice evening, curled up with a good book or some other thing. I don't know what people do for sleep aid these days, but I still curl up with a book. Sometimes it's a manga. Sometimes it's a comic book. Sometimes it's a little, like, informational book. One time for a while I was reading how to draw comics before I went to bed. Rented it from my local library. And I love my library. Guys, if you love your local library, if you hang out sometimes, if you go to your local library, shout it out. Don't actually shout out the place. Oh, wait, I don't think anybody's actually here anymore. That's fine. We're chilling. Boop. Well, except for Mer. But she's quickly falling asleep. My local library is turning into a police station. That makes me sad. One of my favorite places in town is my library. I've tried to get a job there 5 different times, and they refuse to hire me. Even though all of the things I've applied for don't even require a college degree, and I have a fucking bachelor's. I'm like, guys, come on, just please let me work here. I'll be your janitor. I just want to work here. I really like it, and it's only like 5 minutes from my house. I was like, please, I know you'll pay. Please, boss, I need this. Please, Speed, I need this. My mama's kind of hopeless. I'll stay high. I have to shower. Oh, it's okay. That's so dumb. Yeah, I know. People say they need employees, yet they're so picky. Yes, they are. It is the struggle of the modern man and woman. Everybody says, go get a job. Nobody says, hey, by the way, to get a job requires you to be impossibly good at everything. You have to be able to read their minds and understand exactly what they're looking for. It sucked, too, because there was this one really nice lady that showed up at my garage sale last year, and she was like, oh yeah, the library's looking for somebody. Why don't you apply? And I applied again, and they didn't give it to me again. And I saw her again later, and she asked me if I got it. And I said no. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, they said they hired someone internally. But it's gotten to the point now where I know their hiring manager by name, so I'll just email her with, like, first name basis. I'll be like, hi. Me again. I don't know if you remember me, but you probably do. I pester and annoy you quite frequently. I remember you telling me that. That's true. I have mentioned this to you before. I don't know why I was thinking about that. Oh, yeah, because the libraries. Yeah, I loved that place as a kid. That's a good place to get video games. Well, not you specifically, because yours is turning into a police station. But for most people, if you're looking to play new games and don't want to spend the money on them, go to your local library and see what they have. Because you can rent games from the library like you could from Blockbuster and stuff back in the day for free with your library card. I did that all the time. You know what I got? I forgot. This happened a while back. About a year ago. I got Mario Galaxy for the Wii, but that was not the first time I played it. Because when I was a kid, that game came out and somebody had either given it to the library or they had bought a copy themselves and were lending it out to the kids. And I got it once. And I played Mario Galaxy for the first time through my local library. True story. Believe it or not, I used to love my school library. Everybody loves the library, man. It's the best. My mom took me there when I was a little kid. She would, like, read stories and stuff. And I just generally associated it with community. I think that's where my love of, like, old media stuff came from. Books, VHS tapes, old video games, things of that nature. I slowly started to... Oh, that reminds me, I have to send you that channel. But I think that's where it came from, because I associated those things with, like, connecting with people and connecting with, like, artistic vision and things of that nature. I never thought about that before. Yeah, I should make something about that. You never know where inspiration will come knocking. You never know. But yeah, my mom would take me. She would get those, she would do like the story time. My local library used to do that story time thing, which was really cool. And then we would get VHS tapes of like Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff. And I would watch them on this old wooden box TV we had in our living room that had a built-in VHS player. You've been a huge... Aw, thank you. Believe it or not, Mer, so have you. Which is why I hate to hear that, I would hate if you ever stopped streaming, because I like watching your content. It makes me happy. I strive to be better. But I'm glad I've been able to inspire you in a way, too. Jeez, I haven't thought about so much of that stuff. Ugh. I should go back to my library. Maybe in between semesters. This year, I'll go over there. Now that I work during the day. Gross! Mods. Send him to the Shadow Realm. Or actually, I'll just do it myself. Made me see the world in a more positive way. You know? I don't hear that very often. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Mer. Believe it or not, I am usually, outside of this, quite the negative Nancy. But I've been working on improving that, and I'm glad that some people are seeing it. See the good in life. It is always worth it to try. Alright. I did not grab some colors earlier. But truth be told, I would have never known, lol. Yeah, well. It's something well, maybe I'm not so much anymore. You know, I like to think I've grown out of it. When I was younger, absolutely. I was very pessimistic about a lot of things. Didn't really talk about the good stuff going on until somebody actually said, "Can you say something positive?" And then I would go, "Oh, well, I guess this is good," you know, and then I would move on. But, you know, in recent years, I've come to sort of see how much good life has to offer if you just stop and think about it for a second, you know. And I'm pretty happy, honestly. Which is where this all started, ironically kind of culminating, being the 10th anniversary year. Back when I started on YouTube, I started because I didn't feel like there was anywhere in my life where I really got to be myself. It was kind of tough being me. I didn't know how to deal with that. And so I found YouTube as a place where I could kind of just talk, express myself, think the way I want to think, and not really have to worry about what other people thought. And I'm realizing now that there's an easier way for me to do this. CV. C'est la vie. But it was, you know, it was tough growing up. Because, you know, I was kind of weird. I was never one of the popular kids. I didn't really like sports, you know, so I was kind of... And believe it or not, despite my winning personality, people did not fawn over me very much, you know. The ladies were not drawn to the old fuse charm, so I was pretty, well, I wasn't lonesome. I had friends. I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had friends. But, you know, I definitely had things that I regretted, you know, where I felt like I didn't do enough, or I didn't say enough, and I came to YouTube back then because I thought about myself, and I thought about my life, and people have heard the story about the girl who was very obviously hitting on me, and I didn't notice it until after I started my YouTube channel, and then forgot which person in my contacts was her, so I never got to call her back. But that's a story for another time. But when I came to creating content, it felt like somewhere I belonged. You know, being Fuse, I felt like me, you know. I felt like I wasn't trying to pretend or do anything for somebody else. I was just sort of doing the things that I wanted to do, and I could be honest and not have to act at all, not have to put on a fake smile or pretend like something didn't bother me when it did. I could just sort of be me. And makes no sense. I couldn't live a day with aww. Well, that's sweet. But I definitely, when I was younger, didn't have that. But being Fused kind of gave me the opportunity to come out of my shell a little bit and realize that I didn't really need to act like anybody else. I could just sort of express myself however I wanted. It is chilly down here. My office is in my basement, so it's kind of cold. But, yeah, you know, I love getting ads. Ugh. Somebody donate Mariah a sub right now. Give her a sub. I didn't hear any of that. Well, I said you were sweet for saying that, but I did say that it was... Oh, are you still in ads? I didn't think about that part. Ads are a funny thing. I wish I could turn them off, but I don't make enough money off of Twitch to do that yet. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. No. Oh. Okay. Well, I said you were sweet for saying for saying that, but I also said that you know, it's been interesting because when I started, I just really wanted to be able to do stuff for fun. And back then I just played video games and stuff, but as time wore on, being Fused, doing this kind of gave me the opportunity to sort of come out of my shell a little bit and experience life in a more genuine way. And I'm really thankful for that. You know, a lot of people, and I've especially learned this about people like my age now, or coming up on my age now, where like people have, you know, that feeling of like, oh, I wish that I'd have done this, or I wish that I'd have pursued that, or I feel like I'd be happier if I was doing this type of thing. And honestly, professionally speaking, yeah, I wish I could do more art stuff. I wish that, you know, my art would get recognized. Would I like to get a little famous on that front? Sure. That would be great. As a creative, that would be fulfilling to know that people like my work en masse. But I'm pretty happy. I have all of you. I have this. It is fulfilling to feel like I'm making an impact, even if it's a little way, where I'm just talking to people and making conversation. And even if they never come back after one stream, you know, they met me. I interacted with them. We are acquainted in a way. It's nice. It feels nice, I guess. It's the only way I can think to describe it. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, well, you know, it's true. You know, we don't get a lot of opportunities in our lifetime, just as human beings, to go out and really impact other people, to connect with other people, to show other people how we think or how we feel, and maybe even help them understand a little bit more about themselves. But as Fuse, I've gotten that opportunity to do that, and it sort of blossomed into less of a just like a brand name and more of like a part of me, like a thing that I don't want to live without, where I'm just kind of like, oh, you know, I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't Fuse. Like, I don't feel like I would ever want, like, if I could do this as a job, I don't think I'd ever want to retire. Because at the end of the day, if I could just sit around talking to people all day as an old man, what old man wouldn't love that? Have you met old people? They love talking. Unless they're grumpy. Grumpy old people don't like talking. But happy old people love talking. They'll talk about anything. That's where the back in my day thing comes from. Happy old people. Because they want to talk. They want to tell people about what's going on, what's up. They're like, you don't know what's up, man, but I know what's up, man. A positive, goofy soul. Well, that's nice. I try. The humor thing is new. Well, I mean, I've always been kind of funny, but not to the extent that I've become now. It's a lot better now. It's pretty awesome. And people actually find me funny, which is neat. I mean, I was always able to be kind of funny, but it is neat that I get to talk to so many people and make them laugh. That's always a pleasant thing for me. Especially when I hear people say stuff like, you know, I was having a bad day, but coming out to your stream made me feel better. Thanks. Something like that. Nothing better in the world than knowing I made somebody's day just a little bit better. Because we don't get that many chances in life to have an impact. So if you have one, you got to take it. Fuse has been that for me for so long. I mean, it's honestly kind of crazy to think about, like, all the things I've gotten to do because of this. Because of all of you, because of the friends I've met along the way. I've made so many crazy memories. I mean, you get to see things you never thought you'd get to see. See, these art streams are always so inspiring. Well, you know, I try. Really just me kind of talking at the void. It's surprisingly therapeutic. Everybody should try it out sometime or another. Just kind of say things to nothing. You don't realize how beneficial it is until you're doing it, and then you're like, wow. Okay. Okay, monkey, freezy pop. Oh, I agree, yeah. It's very helpful. That's why I love watching other people do, like, creative run-through streams and stuff. I wish that I could get more people to do them, honestly. I try to poke the bear with Moss, too. I liked the one time you did photo editing. That was a cool stream. I watched that one all the way through. I had it on in the background while I was working on something. It was cool. And then every time I poke Moss, I'm like, do it more. I want to watch. Dance. Do it. It's like, I'm not entertaining. I was like, I don't care. Stop. I don't care if you're not entertaining. You don't have to entertain. You doing things is entertaining for me. I would love... You know what I would love? Because Locke edits all the time. I would love if he streamed editing one time. I know he would never do it, because he's like, well, I want my videos to be a surprise. But I'm like, dude, it would be so cool to just watch him shoot the shit while he edits. Or like while he does something else. That would be awesome. You should do that. I'd say a quill too. Oh, I love his stream editing vids. Yeah, they're really good. We get the little backstage pass chat, so you guys don't get to see that. But like every once in a while, Locke will pop in and be like, guys, you guys see something I'm working on? And then he'll just he'll just drop a little nugget. No, but just in general. I really liked it when I did, when I got to do these with people in a call. Like, if it wasn't distracting, like if it wasn't other people playing games or something like that, I would do this with, like, guests. Hell, honestly, I would do it with guests regardless. But, it's tough. I gotta figure out a format to make it work. That's the big thing, is I have to figure out a format in which it will work. Because I want to still be able to create stuff that looks nice, but I want to do it in a way that's like, yeah. You know, like... There's this one podcast I saw, or like video series that, oh, what the hell was her name? Was it Lily Pichu? I want to say it was her. Or... I forget what her name is. Oh, she's a big YouTuber, though. She did this series that I loved, where she would get other content creators to come over to her house, and they would just paint stuff. Nothing specific, just random shit. So, like, Jaden Animation's episode, I remember specifically, because she painted Freddy Fazbear as Hatsune Miku, and it was really, really funny. Because at the end, Lily flips hers around, and it's like a painting of... it was either a painting of Jaden or a painting of, like, something specifically cool that she was like, oh, yeah, this is cool. And Jaden was like, oh, and she was like, oh, show me yours. And she flips it around, and Lily almost falls out of her chair laughing, because it is the goofiest looking thing you've ever seen in your life. Imagine Freddy with, like, long blue hair. And it was good, too. Like, it was very accurate. Surprisingly, scarily accurate. Freddy Fazbear Hatsune Miku crossover character. But, like, I would love... I would die happy if I got to do a show like that. Oh my goodness. Because people do that all the time with things like cooking and stuff. But, like, dude, I want to do it with something like artsy, where I could... Even if somebody was better at art than me, I would still be like, oh, dude, this is fucking fun. this is cool. Like, I would do it with anybody and everybody that I could get in the room. I don't care who you are. It would just be fun. I'd have Kevin James on. I heard he paints. That'd be fun. You know, from like King of Queens. or famously Paul Blart Mall Cop. Yeah, he paints on TikTok. Could get him on the show. That'd be fun. Nobody would see that coming. The Fuses Here Kevin James crossover event. Nobody would see that Fortnite event coming on their bingo card. I'll tell you that for free. But I would love to do them again. I kind of did it back when I did 3D modeling for school. I would just have people in the call while I was working, and it would be really cool. We'd have a lot of cool conversations. I think the episode where I had Locke there, we did, like... I got a lot of work done, but it was mostly, like, he was editing, and I was working, and that was, like, one of the coolest experiences, because we were just sitting... shooting the shit back and forth, talking about, like, the creative process, and, like, how does it feel to make something that people like? What are the struggles of, like, you know, working on something for a long time and then getting stumped and not knowing where to go, or like computer issues. That was a big long segment. That was a fun one. Streamlabs was a topic that came up a lot. As it does in most conversations with streamers, I've found. A lot of people, myself included, not a fan of how Streamlabs constantly has issues. It gets a bit annoying sometimes. Ah, man. Yeah, what a legendary fucking series that was. Well, wait. Oh, I did. I'd love to bring that back in some form or fashion. I really would. Because that would be something else to really get my hands on that. That would be nice. Yeah. If I can figure out a good way to do it, I'll have you on. For sure, Mur. Because you'd probably be a good one to have on for that. I just have to time it so that it's like when you're working on something. I'll be like, oh, you have a project you're working on? Get in the call. Get in here. You know, get over here. We got stuff to do. I've got money to make. Whoa. Like, what was it? That meme with Leonardo DiCaprio. No one likes to just chat with me. We sit for like 3.5 hours after most of our streams and just chill. Well, I like to just chat with you, and I would do a podcast. I think I'll start my own podcast. I feel like I bore you. I'm very difficult to bore. Namely because I grew up with... She's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but the stuff I talk about does not necessarily entertain my family very much. So, like, my mother does not find a lot of the stuff I talk about very interesting at all. So, and obviously, I live with her. I have all my life. So, you know, sometimes, you know, I'll be sitting around yakking it up and she'll be like, I can tell she's not really interested, so I'll just wrap up the conversation. Or she'll outright tell me, she's like, I really just don't, I'm not following, and I don't really get it. And I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But you do not bore me. Let me just say that for free. I'm a difficult person to bore, and I like to yak. Really, the only times I struggle in a conversation are when I'm streaming and somebody says something that's, like, difficult to respond to. That's never fun. Like when it's in chat, and somebody's, like, talking about some banana stuff. You know, many of you know, I've gotten a lot of bananas comments, like fucking catnip, every time, without fail. Love him to death, but holy shit, sometimes I'm like, who's... Dude, I can see it right now. The resub message I got from him, all it says is Michael. I still don't quite know who Michael is. Michael. That's it. That's all I get. Michael. $5 to say the word Michael, by the way. $5. I am baffled and amazed by my community every single time. But yeah. So you never bore me. Believe that. You don't bore. You'd be shocked. Alright, this is color 3. Boop, boop. Oh, this is the fun part. This is the fun part. Woo! Yeah, boy. I would totally do it with you, for real. Like, I would do an episode, and we would just sit there and yak for, like... I'd probably set aside, like, 5 hours. And we could just yak on stream. Because that's how it was the last time I did it with Locke. It was just... We just sat there and yacked. The problem was when I did it subsequently. So, like... I did 2 more episodes like that, I believe. One of them I did with... It was either Jake or Jordan or both or like a few people. And I didn't really get much done because we just started talking about video games and stuff. And by the end of it, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was working on anymore. I didn't like that because it's not the format I was going for. And then the third episode, I want to say Ash was in the call with me. Or some people, there were multiple people in there, and it was like sensory overload. I couldn't handle it. So I'd probably limit it to like 1 or 2 guests, and they'd have to be working on something in like a creative vein. We would need that long, honestly. Yeah, we would need like 5 hours. But it would be fun. Like, I'd do a whole freaking print at that point. I'd do like a... I've had a few ideas lingering in my head for a while of like fun drawings I want to do. I just do them. That's why I love the little art streams Kat and I do. See? It's like that, but it's more freeform. See, because I like the stuff that you guys do, but I wanted a little more freeform, a little more jazz to it, where it's just like, work on whatever you want. It's the free period. The idea would be you're working on something that's easy for you to work on while you talk. So it's something you can do that's very like... It's not second nature. Like, it's involved. You have to think about it. But it's not like dominating all of your focus. So like this, you know, I can doodle while I talk easily. Oh, editing photos is that for me. See, there you go. That's what I would do. So, like, if you did a photo shoot and you had, like, 25 photos to edit through, I'd genuinely just sit there the whole time while you were working on it, and I'd probably do something like this. And I'd just sit there in a call, shoot the shit back and forth. What would be awesome, too, is, like, getting little critiques midway through where you're like, I don't know if this is working, I don't know if an element's working. That would be cool. I've had this in my head for a while. Because I've been invited to be a part of podcasts before, but none of them have had, like, a concrete theme. Great time for a bass drop. But that would be the move. And I think it would be so perfect. Like, people would genuinely be like, this is some real shit right here. This is some real shit. I'd make up a thumbnail for it, put the episodes out. I'd probably put them on, like, the art YouTube channel and just, like, let them ride. And just make, like, thousands of them. Fuck it. I'd do it every week if I had people. I'd be like, you're making music? Fuck it. Get in here. You're editing score. I know people that do music composition or, like, writing sheet music. I'd be like, you're doing that? Fuck it. Get in here. Let's talk for the next 6 hours while you finish like a 20-page composition. Why not? What do I have going on? And it would be awesome. Everybody would enjoy that. I mean, or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know, but I'd still do it because it sounds fun. I swear it'll happen. I need the right setup. That's why if you go, hold on, where's the Discord server? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. There's a voice call way at the bottom of the voice call list on the Discord server, Mariah. If you ever go in there and you can see it, it's called the Accident Podcast. That's why that ended up being in there. That's what I called it. Because it became a podcast by accident. I was sitting there doing the art stream, I was in a Discord call. I had forgotten I was in it. And Locke joined, and he was like, "What are you doing in here by yourself?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just, getting some work done." And he was like, "Oh." Oh, actually. Yeah, that just makes my life easier. I've seen that. Yeah, that's what it's there for. You now know the lore. And that's pretty much... I'd probably rename it, give it a more clever name, but that is the idea. I just want to build on that concept because it was so... Oh. I mean, I don't want to use the word pleasurable, but it kind of was. Just like this euphoric experience where you're just sitting there with a bunch of people working on things, and you're like, this is just awesome. This is just awesome. Like, I'm just having a blast. This doesn't really feel like the right music anymore. I'm gonna switch over to this one. Yeah, that's better. Okay. But yeah, that would be the idea. I'm gonna bring it back. It's coming back. I'm telling you, you have a day where you have photos to edit. You let me know if we're both available. We should do it. It'll be fun. And you don't have to really put on as much of a persona. Like, I know... Chat, I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret. Gamers, we're not actually as high energy as we are on stream most of the time. Like, 9 times out of 10, when the stream ends, we're all just sitting in a call, just, like, shooting the shit about work and school and stuff. Amen. Yeah. But you don't really have to do that for, like, a podcast-style stream, because you're just sitting around talking. And I actually, there was a quote I heard, what was his face? Joe Rogan said it once, where he was like, I just like doing the show, because I get to talk to people about stuff, and it's just stuff they're interested in. Where he's like, they like fucking rollerblading, and they're a politician, and you would never know that, because... they're a politician. Why would they be talking about that? But, he's like, I get the opportunity to talk to people about stuff like that. That's just fun for me. And I was like, dude, that sounds awesome. Chat is the only time I get to talk one-on-one with Fuse. That's true. When we're, chilling. Usually, other people are there. But, I mean, when we do get to talk one-on-one, we usually do talk for a while, which is nice. I appreciate our little chats. They're very nice. It's always the cleanup work. That's always what gets me. It's always the cleanup. Busy, busy, busy. But yeah. I want to do that, though. Yeah, sorry, I meant when people leave at like 2 a.m. and it's just that, yeah, right? It's just when we're just sitting in a Discord call, just hanging out. That's the best. I love, that's when people show you who they really are and what they're really thinking about, is in a Discord call at 2 a.m. Please, Discord, don't make me verify my age to do that. I don't want to. But yeah, yeah, I would love to do that, though, as a show. It would just be so cool. It would be so awesome. It would be so cool. Even if I only got to do an episode like once every other month, I'd still do it, because I'd be like, oh, But then I'd be itching to do it every time, so I'd be like, well, maybe that would make it better. It's the love of the game. I do this shit for the love of the game. Yeah, I love it. There's nothing better in this life than... Nope, that is the wrong one. There's nothing better in life than getting the opportunity to just talk to people while they're making stuff. I learned that, I'll be honest, guys. Dude, I learned that in art school. Which, I didn't go to, like, an art school. I went to, like, a state university art school, which isn't a bad thing. I just, you know. But, like, I'd sit in the lab with people while we were working on projects, and we'd just shoot the shit for, like, when I was doing printmaking, oh my god, that was the best, man. Those people were awesome. When we were doing screen printing and printmaking, because if you've never done that before, it's a very involved process. Like, this shirt that I'm wearing, I made this shirt. It glows in the dark. Fun fact. But it's a very involved process. It takes hours of dedication. Like, I'm talking you get there at 6 p.m., you're not leaving until 1, 2 in the morning. Which sucks, because then you're really hungry. And then you go to McDonald's. That was sick. Dude, the people you would talk to, and you just get in their head like a worm. And you just be like, why are you doing that? Why do you do that? Why are you here? What, like, inspires you and shit? And you'd shoot the shit back and forth. Oh. It's not just making friendships at that point. You come in the next day, and you're dapping each other up, and everybody's like, when did you two start, like, talking to each other? And you're like, oh, man, we bonded, you know, we're gonna have Taco Bell tonight, you know, it's gonna be fun. Some crazy shit. And you miss that. Like, when I left, when I graduated, I missed it. I was so disappointed, because our first assignment for my digital art class, it was just, like, basic Photoshop edits, but I tried to be thoughtful with them, even though we didn't need to be, because I was hoping there'd be a critique. My god, I was hoping. And we go in, and he was like, no, we're not doing a crit for these, because it's just basic. And yeah, obviously, like, a lot of these guys are new to the whole college experience and stuff like that, but I'm like, dude, I miss it. I miss being able to talk to people who have things in their brain. It's awesome. Just people thinking things is just so cool. That sounds so stupid when you say it out loud, but it's the truth. It's just people thinking about stuff. It's like, ugh. You know, you don't... I don't know. Some people, non-creatively inclined professions probably don't understand it. But there's just... there's nothing like meeting somebody, even if they have a different passion than you, and just, like, talking to them about it and getting to understand it on a fundamental level. It's just, like, it's a satisfying feeling watching somebody else be as passionate about something as you are about something, and then you bond not over, like... You don't bond over, say, oh, I like this TV show that you like, or this... Yes, see? She gets it. Yeah, you bond on a more, like, stimulating level intellectually. Because you're not just bonding over at, like, work where you're like, oh, yeah, I watched that TV show, or I do that thing. I've done that with musicians, even with you and Kat. See? Yes. it forms that bond. It's very cool. It's super dope. I mean, like, and it's an intimate thing. What was it? What it was it? Well, the professor I have right now said it, and a few others have said something similar. But the idea kind of boils down to creating things is an intimate process. You know, the way I think about it is you're kind of like slicing off a little piece of yourself and serving it up to people. And so being able to bond about, like, the serving is one thing, but the slicing is another. Like, understanding somebody on the level of, like, we've experienced this from different perspectives, but it's that common ground of, like, I know the feeling of presenting something you're so connected to somebody else, and having them look at it, and the worry and the anticipation and all those emotions. It's a very unique feeling, and it's a bonding feeling. And from there, it all kind of spirals out, you know, to the point where you could be a graphic designer, you could be a writer, you could be a musician, you could be an artist, you could be a singer, a songwriter, a poet, a rapper, a game designer, a 3D modeler, whatever you are, you know. There's a connection to it. What was it? There's that new Marvel show that just came out. There's a great quote from it. I really liked that. Wonder Man. I really enjoyed that show. I thought it was dope, man. I really resonated with those characters. I know you're not there yet, Mariah, but when you guys eventually get there, you'll really probably get a kick out of that show, because it kind of touches on this idea a little bit. But there was a quote in it where they're talking about acting, and there's this guy talking about it, and he's talking about all the money and stuff like that, and how that's like the importance of the job, and how it's just a job and all that. And one of the characters, and I won't spoil anything because I don't want to ruin it, but he's like, it's not a job, it's an art form, and it's the greatest profession in the world, you know. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's kind of the beauty of creating things, and why so many people that have that creative urge want to do it all the time, because it's not a job. You know, a job is something you do for money, but a love like that, it's not like work. It's like speaking or eating. It's second nature. You know, I think about people like Gordon Ramsay, right? He's a big dog. He's pretty cool. He's got to eat. But, you know, in my head, I think about him and I'm like, there's no way that a man like that can do what he does and not be engrossed with it. It's the thing he loves most. You know, obviously everybody's going to say, well, you know, he loves his wife and his children and things of that nature and his pets. But, like, even then, and I mean no disrespect by this, I think the love of the game almost supersedes a love of anything else to a certain degree. Except for maybe, like I said, your children and, like, your significant other. But it's a different kind of love. You know, it's this connection. You can't necessarily escape from it. You know, you can live your whole life doing other things, but at the end of the day, if you love to draw, you'll come home, and even if it's only every once in a while, your hand will feel that itch. Your brain will have an idea, or you'll have seen something and think, man, I can do that. And it just happens. You know? And people who pursue that as a job, as a career, it's not because they want the money. The money is secondary. It's because there's no better feeling. It is the feeling. It is the the sole thing for which life derives its meaning, its greatness. You know, you feel it. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it, you know. So I feel that all the time. It's why I do what I do. It's why I'm sitting here right now drawing this stuff for you guys. I'm not doing it because I necessarily think, like, this is something that'll change my money situation or anything like that. I just do it because it's what I do. It's who I am. It's a part of me. Gosh, that was philosophical. Yep, once you get me going. I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Yeah. I loved every word of it. Well, thank you. Sometimes the deep parts come out during these streams. I let them out. Let the juices flow. I wonder about that, too. You ever think, like, I wonder what that thing is for other people. And that wraps back around to the whole connection thing and why the podcast thing is such a good idea. Because it's like, you get to learn that about other people, about what they're doing. There was a guy I met when I was in my painting class. He wasn't a painter. He was doing it because painting was an elective that he was going to take because he wanted to, he liked to paint. He wanted to learn how to do it, but it wasn't like the thing he wanted to do most. He just wanted an art class under his belt before he transferred out because he wanted to go into music production. What was his name? Sam? Nick? I think it was Nick. He was a nice dude. I lost touch with him, but he was really cool. But he was talking to me about that, and you know, you can hear it with somebody like that too. He was a cool dude, and he was telling me like how much he loved certain sounds, and he could like picture how he would mix stuff in his head. And we're working on our final painting project that night, and he's telling me all about his like process, and why he wants to get into what he wants to get into, the feelings he wants to create, and things like that. And I was sitting there, and we'd go back and forth about things of that nature, and it's really cool. Funny enough, you and Hollow are the only two I talk to like that. You know, it is a tough thing to do the first time. So, but you feel an immediate closeness to people once you do. So, if you have the opportunity, definitely try it with others. No one else wants to, or so it seems. You'd be surprised. A lot of people are just nervous. Like we said, it's personal. It's a very personal feeling. So a lot of people, especially those that don't delve into like the professional side of it, they don't know. They don't know how freeing it can be. And it's hard for them. You know, they struggle to express it, to express themselves, even. Religiously speaking, I have a few I talk about God and their perspective. Ah, that's a good one. That's actually pretty equivalent, if you think about it. So, I mean... Oh, this part's gonna be tough. Hang on. But that's a very similar thing. And a lot of people, you've probably experienced it from like a religion perspective. They hesitate the first time. It's fun to hear what they believe and compare it to. Yeah, see? But like that first time, we learn from each other. Yeah. But like that first time you do it, people are a little hesitant, you know? They're like, oh, you know, I don't know. Because it's a touchy subject. It's personal. It's the same with creating stuff. People just don't realize it's the same. But it can also be very fulfilling. In a lot of cases, anyway. At least I think so. It is. Yeah. I actually do need this one for a second, because I need you. I need this shape. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm sleepy. Brain shutting down, speaking with less words. Oh, that's fine. Just relax. You don't even have to... Don't worry about it. If you doze off, that's a good thing. I am here to help with that. In a way. I mean, not intentionally. Kinda intentionally? I don't know. Just relax. Have a nice time. Drink some water. That's always helpful. Okay, then we gotta free nut this back arm a little bit. Easier for eepy fingies. Eepy fingies is a good one. I like that. Eepy fingies. Just rest. We'll take it from here. Captain. Okay, I'll close my eyes, lol. Now, lol, good night. Stream will be up still. I know, it's relaxing. Just chill out. I know you're a busy lady. You've got a lot going on. Just take it slow and just relax. As Heisenberg says, relax. I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed. Tuco. Now there's a funny guy. Hey, Tuco, come on, man. Let's just take it easy. Let's relax, okay? Iceberg says, relax. Shit. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Focus. Extra focus. Alright, I think that's good. So we'll do clipping. We'll go filter, hue, brightness down 40. Oh, right. Okay, grab that, grab that, grab that, grab this. What the? Oh. I don't understand. What's wrong? What the hell? Huh. Oh, I see it. Huh. Oh, that's why. Well, I suppose that works. Anyway. Now that that little chestnut's resolved. Okay. Okay. And that should be good for the night. Oh, hold on. There we go. Plus 40. File. Save. All right. Well, chat, despite my love for all of you, I do think that I'll have to conclude the stream for the evening because I do have a little bit of other work to do before I go to bed myself. So, if you enjoyed the stream and you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and follow on Twitch. It's free, and it makes the little number go up, which makes me happy. If you're watching on Twitch and you haven't already dropped a follow, why not? Again, it's free. And if you're subscribed, congrats. You got new emotes, new sub badges. Discord server access, I think, should be working. So that's cool. You get some cool stuff out of it. And yeah, there's that. So that's nice. And this will eventually be, I believe, an animated sub emote if I can make it work. We'll see. But yeah. Until next time, thank you all for your support. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Bye, guys.